Now, when it comes to culture, let's put it on the women's perspective. As an example, you've gone through divorce, or maybe you're going through abuse in a marriage, and it triggers you in so many ways that it escalates and affects you to the point of PTSD. Now, in that particular situation, culture obviously dictates that we ni mwanamke ni kuvumilia kwenye ndoa, mwanamke ndoa sijui usitie doa halo. Those kind of things, how are they enablers of such kind of disorders?
Very good question. We human beings are social beings. Therefore, you cannot eliminate the social aspects, the culture, the environment that this person is in. So these are some of the things that will come in and worsen the situation. How you respond to it may be different from how you respond to it, yet both of you are ladies. How I respond to it may be different from you, yet it's the same thing. But because of the difference of gender, things will change. So what does that mean? Men in our society have been customized, trained from day one not to express their emotions. So because of that inability to become vulnerable, they keep a lot to themselves and therefore will be disturbed more by an incident than a lady, if it's traumatic disorder, because of that aspect of numbing their feelings. And now they will go for wrong coping mechanism, which of it is alcohol and uncontrollable sexual behaviors and similar cases, just to numb that feeling. That's now the aspect of the male gender. Okay. Because women will share, talk about it, they will cry and all that. And that is something good. So the difference to gender brings a change. Another aspect when we talk about risk factors in terms of culture, there are cultures, whether it's a lady or a woman, they are not supposed to talk about some things. Yeah. You are not talk about, how do you talk about rape? And if this rape has been done by a member of the family, it's unacceptable. So you don't talk about it. So that on its own, that culture makes this person not to talk about it, not to seek for help. Some cultures, some environments will tell you not to talk about mental illnesses. How do you do that? This is, you have been bewitched. You have, this is a demon and all that. So this thing will be covered in a certain way and this person will not find help. So religion, how we tackle issues becomes a factor of to contribute and to worsen the situation or even make it better. The other thing is about the history of this person. Someone who has had similar instances. Example, and this week, somebody, for example, this month, we are in September, somebody talked about an accident. Then in that same month, maybe as come to end, you have a wedding, and during that wedding, something happens, and maybe you divorce and you fight with your husband and all that happens. Then within that period, you lose a loved ones. Now, you have a series of events that have affected your psychological wellness. That makes you more vulnerable, more weak to when you face a traumatic incident, to suffer more than any other person who has not gone through a similar incident before. And of course, people have different coping mechanisms. That becomes also a difference in terms of factors. And lastly is the aspect of personalities. Some people who are maybe of certain personality will react differently. A sanguine, a choleric will talk about it and have fun about it and just go through it in a better way compared to somebody who is phlegmatic and melancholic, because they will try to keep it, internalize, try to resolve, look for logic, facts, analyze and all that. How do I go and now start talking to Aziza about this? So personality also becomes an issue. So it's a list of factors that makes us to react and respond differently.
All right, we're all about shifting mindsets at the end of the day and still sticking within that same line. The stereotypes or the things that we normalize as society, especially when it comes to mental health disorders. Unaangalianga ni kama msee either ni mwenda wazimu or that's too Western. We can't talk about it. We're African. That's not how we deal with things. And how it makes it so hard for people to talk about mental health disorders, to bring out the issues that they have and how it affects them in general in the healing process and refrains them from seeking help or vitu kai. So how would you talk about it to demystify those kind of stereotypes?
The key thing is to understand that in everything and every experiences of our days, we go through some unpleasant effects, you know, and events. All of us. And so first is getting to a point of acknowledging that these things are here with us and they affect everyone in whatever level. Children, adults, all of us, the whole spectrum are affected. So once we acknowledge that these issues are with us, then we need now to come to the place of normalizing the conversations, saying it is okay to speak about an experience, you know, something, that traumatic experience that you had, it is okay. But the first thing is to acknowledge the environment into which this person is speaking out. Because remember, when you've gone through this, you're very vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, many things can happen within you. But we say when you use your vulnerability in a productive way, then it becomes helpful because you speak without really suppressing the feelings, the emotions that you are going through. So we can start at the level where we are, if it is at the family level, and we know a family member, or all of us have experienced, because, for example, if a robbery happens in a home, all of us experience that. So have moments where we can have these conversations and speak about where each person is. What is it that you're feeling? What is it that you experienced? How are they manifesting within yourself? If it is at the social levels, if you can have that trusted person, it can be a friend, it can be a professional, it can be a relative, somebody that you trust. Because of that vulnerability, you need to speak out in a space where there is a positive regard, where somebody will not judge you, will ask you. Because what normally happens is sometimes when someone has gone through this, there's always this negative affect that goes through the person. And so you may blame yourself